Hello and welcome to the FRAG review show. Today we're going to be reviewing the final episode of Rent a Girlfriend. How exciting! But before we get to that, I'll introduce our guests for the show. I've got with me Ruben
Hello.
and returning Miss Fashion Police herself, Jay.
Good evening.
Yeah, and I'm Ben, your typical host for every show. So I guess let's get started. The final episode of Rent a Girlfriend, 12 episodes. Bit sad that it was only 12, but I think we might be getting a second season just from how hyped this first season was.
I
But
mean, there's Rent a Girlfriend 2 already on GoGo Anime, so I think we are.
yes, yes. So, my first question, which I typically give, what do we think of the episode overall? As the 12th episode, what do we think? Compared to other episodes too, what do you think? How does it rank? How does it stack? I guess since we've seen everything, we know where to rank everything. What do we think about this final episode, Jay?
I'd say all of the episodes are pretty similar in terms of quality. I wouldn't really rank any of them or say that one episode is better than another because the show is a pretty linear show.
Yeah, but I definitely think there are some episodes that are better than others. Right, Ruben? It was which one was the really
Yeah,
good one? It was 10, 10 or 10 and 11. I think 11 was
and
good too.
and I think episode 2.
Two was good too. That was the bar scene, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, the bar scene was pretty good.
Yeah, the bar scene. 10 was when he made up with his friend after he got embarrassed. 11 was the episode where they introduced a new girl, but there was something after that. I think that made it even better as well. Yeah. So I really like those episodes, particularly out of everything. So 12 was okay. As far as endings go for seasons, I thought it was a pretty good
left you
point.
wanting more.
Yeah, it was like it wasn't like a shitty cliffhanger though, as some other anime would have. It's kind of like they left you there, like, so we've introduced you to a bunch of these characters. We've developed a little bit more between Shizuru and Mami, and now we're gonna leave you in with the question: who's he gonna go for at the end of the day? Pretty obvious, but you know, um, I guess the fandom will be split regardless.
Yeah, fandoms are always going to be split between who's their favorite girl, but I will admit, while fandoms will be split between who's the favorite, everybody internally always knows who the main character is going to end up with, and we all know that it's going to be Mizuhara.
Yes, pretty much. What do you have to say about What do you have to say about it, Ruben?
I'm not happy about what went down in that episode with who he chose to be with.
He didn't actually choose anyone, did he?
Oh,
Oh,
I mean, he pretty
oh,
much chose
okay, yeah.
Chizuru, and he was
Well,
just about to go with Ruka.
momentarily, yes. Uh, and then she turned him down. So
She didn't turn him down exactly. She kind of just
hey, he
was
played it
confused.
off, and then she played it off. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So my idea is because of how they interacted with each other in that scene. In fact, this is actually one of the questions I had lined up. What did we think of that particular scene in the show? So, because of how he played it off and how she played it off, I think since she didn't really show that much interest when he said that he was into her initially, it might get him to start properly thinking about dating other people. And maybe it's going to be one of those things where in the next season he's going to actually start earnestly dating people like Ruka or I forgot the other girl's name and
Ami?
Sumi. I think it
nah,
was Sumi,
Sumi.
Oh, Sumi, right,
the
right, right.
quiet one. Yeah. And because of that, it might cause some jealousy and that could be its own like little arc in the story. So I feel like that's probably something that would be lined up. Yeah, what do we guys think about that scene overall? Ruben, so you didn't like it?
I enjoyed myself while watching it, so I'd say it did its job.
Yeah, for sure. It was a good scene to set up everything. Um, yeah, and I guess it was okay to end it off on as well, as far as the season goes. Anything else we want to say about that scene? Anything we thought, anything we thought could be done better, or maybe you didn't like how it was approached, but everyone's okay with it.
There was nothing in particular that really stood out to me about the scene. I think a lot of romance anime and rom-com anime have similar season enders.
Okay, I haven't watched a ton of rom coms though. I think I'm also watching Origairu. If anyone else is watching it,
Origaru is great.
are you watching it this season?
I am not watching the new season, no. I didn't know that it was getting a new season.
The final season. It's actually really good, but we're not here to talk about that. I'm thinking about making a video on it as well. If you want, Jay, you can be in the video too to talk with me about it when you
Yeah,
finish it.
I'd love
You can
to.
binge it. It's actually all out now, but I haven't finished it myself yet.
Slick.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So the other question I was gonna give, now that the show's finished and we've got to see everyone, and what do we think about best girl? Who is the best girl to everyone? How about you
Ruka.
start, Ruben? Rip.
Ruka.
Why do you guys think it's Ruka?
Cute girl, blue hair. My brain glazes over,
Have you
and
seen?
I like.
Wait, have you seen Domestic Girlfriend?
Yes, I have seen Domestic
So
Girlfriend.
would I take it to mean that you're a fan of that girl as well?
Yes,
Okay. uh,
you
yeah.
are very correct.
Well, yeah. I guess my assumption's correct there. Yeah, yeah. I haven't finished Domestic Girlfriend, but I want to continue finishing it off on the manga. So I'm interested to do that. But whenever I have time. Ruben,
I
what are
kind
you?
of hate the ending for Domestic Girlfriend, but that's a completely different conversation.
Yes, I heard a lot about that as well. In fact, that could also be another episode we do on the show. But yeah, Ruben, what are your reasons for hating, for liking Ruka and maybe hating everyone else?
I don't hate everyone else. Ruka is just the best girl.
He doesn't even hate
I love.
Mami. Do you hate Mami, Jay?
Uh,
No, I don't. I think Mommy has an issue with like tone. I think she says things very rudely, but I think overall she makes a lot of valid points, and I like the fact that she like knows for herself what she wants. Or she acts like it at the very least towards the end of the show.
That's
And
true.
I appreciate that. And like particularly I was thinking about the scene where Mizuhara was talking to her and she's like, have you ever actually come to him in good faith and thought about his feelings for you? Have you ever considered that he might be the one to make you happy and give you a good life? And she's like, that's between him and me. And I was like, you go, girl. Like it was framed like she was supposed to be mean for that, but I actually very much agree with that sentiment that that's between him and her. That's not Mizuhara's choice to make.
but it was pretty. They kind of painted the picture that she could see his leg, like hiding around the corner. Do you think her answer would have changed had he not been so obviously seen?
Possibly.
Do you guys think she actually saw him, or do you think they were just showing
I,
that he was watching the whole time?
I think they
I
really
think
painted the
she
picture.
saw him, but it could be argued that she didn't.
I mean, it could be anyone's leg, right? But
Well, because you have to also think from the perspective that they're standing, Mizuhara would be covering where he'd be poking out from as well.
yeah, but the way that they painted the picture, it really looked like she knew someone was listening.
Exactly. The way that the show was framed and the way that it was presented to us indicated that she knew that he was there.
Possibly, possibly. I will be reviewing the episode myself for the edits, so I'll figure that out when I edit. Uh, yeah, I don't know how he didn't get found out like much earlier anyway, when he was just sitting there bawling his eyes out. But yeah, he gets figured out later that he's eavesdropping. I haven't said who best girl is for me. Wait, did you?
I got it,
Did
Ruka.
no? Did you finish explaining why you like Ruka, Ruben?
Well, not really. I was just gonna say I've watched Domestic Girl too, but I haven't, just to be funny. But well, she's just she's cute, eh? And she's low, and
Yes.
she really wants Kazuya, and I like Kazuya,
Yes. Okay.
and and Scooping Mac is in here because I reckon she's just like, I don't know. She's the most, apart from Mommy, she's the most real girlfriend, real girl on the show.
Um. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
look at Sumi. What is her name? Sumi. She has to slap herself to smile. Like, Chizuru, like, get out of here. No girls like that.
Okay. Uh. Who is best girl? So when you guys think about best girl, do you think about it from the lens of like just who do you think would be the most ideal girl? I suppose, right?
No, I look for a specific energy. I don't look for like the ideal girl. It goes with like looks, personality, things like that. There is a formula to creating the best girl, though
So
I have to admit it's something that you know by intuition, not by knowing the formula and being able to vocalize it.
and you're not sure you can explain that formula. Like you couldn't
Yeah, you
explain.
just gotta understand it.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm kind of the same, except I more like look at his worst girls, and the other ones are significantly worse than Rika.
so I'm not sure who would be best girl. I think maybe the closest person to that might be I don't know Sumi. I really like Sumi. I think so. It's not by a matter of I just think she's the best because she is. It's because I'm looking at the other girls and I'm seeing the flaws that I think I'd hate more so in them and why it elevates her. So she's like she's very cute, she's very nice, she's not very abrasive like some other characters in the show. Ruka, despite what Kazuya tells her to do, she ruins his relationship with his friend. She attempts to ruin his relationship with his family. She fucks him over with Mizuhara. So, like, she does a lot of really shitty things in the show when you actually take a step back and you look at everything that she's properly done. And that's why I feel like she's not best girl. Uh, mommy, mommy. Obviously, she's a manipulator. Um, doesn't seem like she actually wants anything to properly to do with Kazuya. She just wants to fuck him over. So that's why she's not best girl. Um, Chizuru. Yeah, so I'm almost thinking from the perspective of Kazuya in this sense. So Chizuru, it doesn't seem like she has anything like she. I don't know because they keep playing this thing in the show. Like, is she interested in him? Is she not? But she ultimately never really tries to tell him if she is. So they're playing that game, and uh, like I don't think that it really embodies best girl. If you're gonna like play games to see who loves who, so it just leaves Sumi. Sumi seems the most earnest, the nicest, and that's why I think she's best girl.
I guess, but where's the cute looks, the little button nose, the short blue hair?
Sumi's arguably cuter than Ruka, so
She's pretty
I'll
cute.
just say
I'm not sure we can be friends anymore.
that. It's well, who do you think is cuter? Like she's. Haven't you seen her
Ruka!
mannerisms and her facial expressions and all that? I'm just talking from a
Yes, I
cuteness factor.
have. Yeah, on a cuteness factor, Ruka's cuter.
Yuruka's pretty cute, but I think Sumi's cuter. That's
To each their own.
that's what I'll say about that. It's yeah. I know that yeah. Ultimately, Chizuru is gonna be the one that's picked at the end of the day for the show. Uh, and Mac would probably like that because
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't like that.
he wouldn't like it, but he would because he thinks about well, he wants her to be happy, and for her to be happy, she has to be with Kazuya. So
But
that's
also,
but
Kazuya is not good enough for her.
yeah. But again, like I say, when he goes through the process of what makes her happiest, it would be that. So Mac would ultimately default to having Chizuru, wanting Chizuru to be with Kazuya and pretty much her as best girl. That's not really surprising. Uh, yeah, okay. So another question I've got for the show is, what do you think of Kazuya at the end of the show? Has he grown to any of you guys?
I
I
always like
think
Kazuya.
he's planted some seeds and watered them, but they've yet to grow.
I think the story's told in a very weird way. It's hard for me to think that he might have grown a little bit, but not a whole lot, right? So he's one of the moments in the anime where I feel like if he did something initially, he would have grown so much more as a character than when he did it later. So Ruben probably knows this. So the scene where it's the episode where he ends up dating Ruka, episode 6 or 7, something like that. So he basically in that same episode he fucks his relationship with his best friend over, and he's going to talk to his friend and reveal that he's also dating a rental to make him feel better and just talk to him about it. But he ends up not doing it because of Ruka and Chizuru, and I feel like that's a really shitty thing to do. He ends up doing something about it later anyway, because what was the because of he found out that his friend was like really depressed and feeling really shitty. I'm like, no shit, of course. But you could have like saved him the time that from when you initially fucked him over to like when you decided to talk to him of like that whole period of depressedness. So I feel like that was a really shitty thing for him to do, just to wait until like it was noticeable that he's like really feeling shitty to approach him about it and reveal stuff. So I feel like he could have grown way more as a character if he did that, but he didn't. So I was a bit upset. But he ended up doing it anyway, so that was nice. That shows a bit of
Uh,
growth.
Chizuru did it.
No, he did it. He set up the date with Chizuru as well.
That's him vicariously doing something through another person.
Yes, but he also he's the mastermind of the show. He organized it. He knew that his friend was down. So he got Chizuru to try and cheer him up. He talked to him during or after the date as well. So uh, I'm not conceding this point to you, Ruben. I'm pretty sure that he's grown from that. That was his decision. So he grew some there. I guess by the end of the show, he might have grown a little bit too because he's a bit more honest. Although a few seconds after being honest, he hides it, which is a natural response as well. If you like confess your love to someone and then it's just silence, I can see that happening where you're just like, oh, I mean, in this way, and you just kind of hide it.
There was no
Because
silence.
there was silence. He
No,
said,
if you watched after the credits, he immediately corrected himself.
I think there was a bit of silence.
He went like red and then pretty much immediately corrected.
If he has time to go red, some seconds have passed. and that second is time for him to think, oh wait, maybe she doesn't actually like me. I'm just gonna hide my feelings now and say I mean as a rental girlfriend. So
Yeah,
that
he caught himself with his pants down.
yeah. So anyway, I think he's grown a little bit to try to actually approach her, and even in the first place, initially, tell her how he feels. So he has grown as a character quite a reasonable amount. But I still think we're we're gonna see a lot of shitty Kazuya antics in the future, regardless. Anyway, that's what I think. What do you guys think about Kazuya's growth?
I don't think he's grown that much, to be honest.
Yeah.
Neither do I. I think Kazuya spent a lot of time trying to grow, but I think a lot of his growth has been stunted, essentially by just his desperate want for a girlfriend and love, because he's not stepping out of his comfort zone and he's not doing anything actively to grow. He's messing up relationships with his friends. Like, the seeds that were planted and that he watered were when he started to get back with his friends and when he finally was like, hey, Mizuhara, I care about you. I want this relationship to go somewhere. But I'd say, throughout the show, he did not grow a great deal.
Mm. I don't think he grew a ton either, and I don't.
I think he might
I
have even digressed, to be honest.
yeah, I kind of agree with that actually. Yes, yes. I hear a lot of people who are manga readers saying like, "Oh my gosh, like some shit happens, dude, later," and I'm like, "Well, okay." So I guess we obviously didn't see it this season, but if there's a next season, we probably would see something big happening with Kazuya's character. So if season 2 does come out, which it's probably really likely, that would be very cool to see. Anyway, yeah, I think this episode's actually gone on for a long time. Does anyone have anything final to say for the final episode of the Rent a Girlfriend review?
Predictions for next season?
Ah, yes. Predictions. How about you go first, Jay? Tell us, what do you think's gonna what's an arc or a scene or something that you predict will happen in the next season following the ending of this season?
I predict there's going to be a lot of dramatic irony between Mizuhara and Kazu. I think there's going to be far too much for my taste. I think there's going to be a lot of them. Well, do you know what dramatic irony is?
Dramatic irony.
Dramatic irony is when characters do not know something, but the audience does. And so I believe the dramatic irony that's going to be happening is that Kazu and Mizuhara are going to be dancing around each other, not knowing each other's feelings, and we, the entire time, are going to know that they care about each other and are going to be waiting for them to spit it out and get together.
Hmm. I don't know. Um, I think the I think the author of this show, this manga, he hasn't been too conventional with the plots in the actual show in the manga. So he might not do something that's that cliche. I have some faith with this writer. He's okay. So I don't think he'd do that. Or he might, but I hope I don't hope he does it for a prolonged amount of time because that gets really annoying.
Yeah, I hate it when things do that. Will they, won't they is a very tired old trope.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I can see that happening, but my hope is that this author isn't that shitty to make it just like a thing for like really long in the show. Ruben, what do you think is going to happen in season 2?
Drama. Nah. I reckon very quickly that Rika and Kazuya will end it, the trial period, and then we'll watch some more cringe unrequited love between Chizuru and Kazuya for another season. And then if that isn't the final season, then season 3 will probably be the final season where they get together.
Mm-hmm.
If there is a season 2, there's probably going to be a season 3 because
Or if they have a season 3, they might mix it up and they'll get together in season 2, and then season
Yeah,
3 is going to be like still
the
more
breakup
will they,
season.
won't they? Yeah, the breakup season. Their relationship is falling apart, and in the end, they do care about each other and they actually don't hate each other's guts and they do want to stay together.
Yeah, it feels exactly like any normal romantic, like actual non-animated show.
hmm.
But you know what? They do it in a very entertaining way.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
It's
A lot
hard
of
to kind of differentiate since the genre's been out, since TV's been out. But
Would you argue that this is probably the most popular show this season? Popular anime? Let's
I
see.
believe that it could be argued, but I personally would not argue that.
Right. It's high up there, but it doesn't seem like it. I'm just looking at some seasonal charts of anime. So this is going by user ratings at least. So not necessarily how popular it is. But so unsurprisingly, ReZero's first and then some other stuff and yeah, Origairu season 3 is just before Rent a Girlfriend in the list. So Rent a Girlfriend is pretty high up there. It is the 7th in terms of popularity, I suppose. So that's pretty good, especially for like a new IP, right? This is a new story, and it's just smashed up the rankings to 7. So that's pretty good. That's really good. And I do expect like a season 2 to be coming up for it as well. But what do I think of what's going to happen in season 2? I don't know. Like, usually, whenever we have predictions, it's something completely different to what we have. Ruben, the only time he got a prediction right was when he was like, "Oh, but what happened in this scene? Like, what happened with their stuff that they left and stuff like that?" Which he actually surprisingly got right. I didn't know they'd
uh,
dedicate anime time to show that, but uh,
last episode I did predict a kiss at the end of the season, but you know, I know it wasn't a kiss, but it was kind of like he professed his love.
do you remember what I
Close
predicted
enough.
That's
last
it's the same idea, right?
Do you remember
Like you get
what I said? Because I usually have my
Nope.
predictions along with you guys with you, Ruben.
I can't remember your one. Oh, Max even.
Yeah, maybe we didn't do it that episode. Yeah, so what happens? So the season ends. There's some shit with Mami and Chizuru, and then we're left to like we see the girls, all four of the girls, one more time, and then Kazi is just like, someone approaches Chizuru at the end. Uh, I think okay. I think season 2 is going to have a lot of jealousy arcs. I think we've introduced a lot of characters now. We've gone through a lot of shit with Mami and with some of the other girls in Ruka and all that. And we've already seen some of that jealousy with Ruka versus Chizuru. But I think as we progress into the new season, he's gonna have to start dipping his toes into one of the girls, right? He's gonna have to start dating one of the girls, and I think that's when the real jealousy is gonna brew. Like he's gonna actually properly do it, and he'll probably be with Ruka, and that's when the jealousy will spark. I think
He'll be with Ruka, and all will be well.
for a while until he starts realizing that he likes Chizuru again, and he might find out that she likes him as well, and he's like, oh shit, but because she is the poster girl, she is the one, she will be the one. Yeah. So that's what I think is gonna happen. Anyway, anything else anyone wants to say for the end of the show?
Go Team Ruka.
Final episode. Well, yeah.
I enjoyed it. I would watch it as a party show. I don't know if I could recommend it to anyone though.
You can't recommend it? Why not?
I thought it was enjoyable, but I also think that there are other shows that are way more enjoyable, and that this show, while enjoyable, is still like pretty formulaic.
You know what?
Like, what?
It is one of those shows though that normies can get into.
That's true. That's very
Absolutely. And
true.
I think that's why it's so popular as well, because it is one of those kinds of shows.
Well, yeah, well, that's why I referred to it like I'd watch it as a party
See,
show, and I'd recommend it, for a
if
party show, but not
it's a normie
necessarily.
show, I can always recommend it to other people because you know that they'll probably find something that they enjoy about it. Right. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
I recommended this show just yesterday. When I visited some of my other friends. So,
Cool.
yeah, I think this is definitely one of those shows you can recommend. But you personally don't want to recommend it to anyone.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I guess that's the final episode. As far as what we do next with the channel, I'm thinking we might review something next season. So what that is, we'll have to debate amongst ourselves in the FRAG group. But that's the final episode review of season 1 of Rent a Girlfriend. If you did enjoy it, feel free to leave a like on the video, and if you disliked it, feel free to leave a dislike. Also, feel free to tell us why you didn't like it or why you really liked it. We're open to criticisms and listening to what everyone else has to say. Yeah, so anyway, thanks for joining us for this episode, and I hope we can see everyone in the next anime review as well. So, thanks guys. See ya.